Hello, and welcome to a special edition of Coach's Corner, Ask the Athletes. I'm Jake Lancer here with Danny Lynch for HWTV. Today we're here with Kai Fauché and Jason Thompson, part of the HW varsity football team. The Wolverines are currently 3-3 heading into a pivotal homecoming game on Saturday night against Mary Star.
So before we get into the details of the upcoming games and what the team's going on, can you just tell us a little background about yourselves, how long you've been on the football team, how long you've been at Harvard Westlake, what year or what grade you're in?
Yeah, so I'm a junior. I'm class of 2023. I've been playing football since 7th grade, so this is my 5th year. And I've been a lineman for the entire time I've been playing.
I'm a senior this year, class of 2022. I play wide receiver. I've been playing football as long as I can remember, but since I've been playing for Harvard Westlake since I got here in 7th grade.
And so this year you guys started off with a great start, but in these last few games you've lost a couple of players. How are you guys coping with that?
It's tough being a team that's a little smaller, but I think we've got a lot of guys some reps these past few games, and I think it'll really help us going into league to have more guys that can really get on the field and help the team out.
Yeah, we've played, the past couple of weeks have been some really physical teams we've played against. We haven't quite been able to match that intensity, and guys have gone down, but in that same idea, guys have stepped up and helped to contribute. We had a really close game against Burroughs, and with our guys back, we'll be able to finish games like that in the future.
And Kai, what are you expecting for next year's team looking forward, since you do have a lot of seniors graduating?
Generally, skill players aren't really the issue with football teams. Everyone wants to be a running back or a wide receiver or quarterback, and no one really has a problem with that. But I think on the line, we're going to suffer some losses. We'll still have me and Mike Schneider at tackle, but hopefully some guys from the middle school can step up, and we can find the people we need for the O-line and D-line.
With both of you guys being more experienced players, how do you really deal with a leadership position, especially with some key players being out?
I think just keeping the energy and the morale up as much as possible. During the games, just keeping the sideline active, especially with the younger guys who may not get as big of an on-field role. Just during practice and during games, keeping them involved, just getting simple as a pass run call on the sideline when we're on defense. Stuff like that, I think really keeps the younger guys who may not see the field as much, keeps them involved and, gives them something really, really simple, but really such a big deal kind of to contribute to the team during the game.
Yeah, I agree. Middle of the season, it's really hard to kind of stay with the values and the goals that we established in the beginning of the season. And so guys can start forgetting, what was our, did we want to win league? Do we want to go undefeated? What are we carrying with us when we're playing the game? What's our purpose? And, if you lose purpose, it's easy to start losing games and get in a role where, things are kind of spiraling downwards. But I think if we keep guys, like JT was saying, if we keep guys energy up, sideline energy, locker room energy, everything has to really stay up, and we have to make the effort. Otherwise, we will downward spiral.
And talking about the energy of the team, how do you think the culture of this team differs from last year, since again it's a completely different team with so many different players on it now?
This year is definitely a different team. I think we lost a lot of seniors last year, and I think what just came with that was we had a lot more juniors and even sophomores this year kind of step up and take some smaller leadership roles, just in their just maybe their position room or just in their grade. Just kind of making sure that everyone's locked into kind of the goals that Kai was talking to earlier. Especially in practice, I think it's been a really big thing where we've had, not necessarily, the senior team captain guys that walk up before the game, but other guys really step up and kind of take on some of those roles.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference this year is we can't afford to make mistakes and have Marshall or Chase or our D-line that was really talented last year bail us out. We really have to be on top of it all the time. And so I would say, we're still operating at a pretty high capacity, but we just have less opportunity and room to slip up and make mistakes. So
Obviously, there's a lot of uncertainty at the quarterback position right now. How does the whole team sort of cope with that and just sort of try not to focus on what's bringing you guys down and look towards the positives, I guess?
Yeah, it hurts. It hurts to see our guy go down. It's my job to protect him. It's the whole O-line's job to protect him. When we can't do that, it's we question if we're doing our job right. And so obviously, going into the next few weeks is going to be tough because we're going to have to figure out who can step up and fill that role. But I have confidence that we're going to fill that role because we have no other choice but to. So that's just what's going to happen, I think.
Yeah, and I think we definitely have some guys who can really go at the quarterback position. And I also really trust our coaching staff. They've already been putting in some some cool packages and some different ways that we can really still move the ball, even without, even if we don't have QB1 in. But I think we'll be okay, and I think we have some exciting stuff coming just with the offense the next few weeks.
And Jason, I think a lot of people are wondering where the idea of you becoming a punter is coming from, because you're already on offense and defense, and it's just something like, can you do everything, or where'd that come from?
It was kind of a funny story. I actually missed a practice one day, and I came back, and my coach was like, "Can you punt?" I was like, "I mean, yes. I don't know how good I can punt, but I can punt." So I went out on the field, and he's like, "Here." He snapped it to me. I punted once. He was like, "All right, you're good." So then we get into practice, and he's like, "All right, punt team." I'm still standing on the sidelines. Like, "Oh, you're the punter now." So, I mean, I think it just helps to having me back there, knowing that kind of keeps the defense on his heels, that we can do a lot of stuff, a lot of dynamic things with having more skill positions on the field. Because now if I move back to punter, we can add another receiver, another running back on the field. We can do a lot of fun things that I don't even think we've kind of gone into yet. So,
Kai, last week Burrows had a lot of success blocking downfield, turning sort of shorter pass plays into really big time long yardage plays. How do you guys try and tighten that up this week?
Yeah, so second half was probably our biggest O-line performance that we've had all year. I mean, John Burrow's D-line front was a serious D-line. They weren't undersized at all. They had guys who were much bigger than me and the rest of the O-line. And so, when we take it upon ourselves that we're gonna beat kids up every play, which is essentially what our job is, we're really effective in that. And it just takes all five of us moving as a unit. And all of our, it's no secret, all of our wins have come from when the O-line's playing together. Obviously with a bunch of other things going on too with our skills. But when we put our mind to it and we get a little nasty, we're gonna win games.
Jason, with offers from both Pac-12 schools and Ivy League schools, obviously not trying to look ahead because there's still a long season ahead of us, are you leaning towards going to a more athletic-oriented school or a more academically oriented school?
I think wherever I choose to go will fit what I'm looking for academically. I mean, coming from a school like Harvard-Westlake, it's kind of hard to pass that up, but I'm kind of just, I'm really just building relationships with all the schools that I'm talking to. And I think it's going to really come down to what feels right and what's the best fit. So I think academics will be an important part. I also want to play football at a high level. So I guess we'll just have to see.
Homecoming's a really big night for the whole Harvard-Westlake community. The fanatics really show up. How does that help your guys' performance on the field, especially in a big game like this?
Sideline energy and crowd energy. You can get a band playing. Anything that we can get to boost morale is huge on a football field. You can feel it when the energy sinks, and that's generally when we start to play poorly. And so having homecoming and having that environment, as many people who can show up, because we need your guys' support.
No, I think crowd energy is seriously underrated. I think especially when you see, your friends and your peers are sitting in the stands. It just, every play you want to make a big play. And that's something I always stress to a lot of the skill guys. If you're not trying to make a big play every play, what are you doing? So I think having everybody in the stands and just constantly, feeling the energy from them, kind of like Kai said, it doesn't give the opportunity for our morale as a team and our energy as a team to sink down.
And what outcome are you guys expecting versus Mary Star at homecoming?
So last year, Mary Star ran a pretty interesting offense. They stacked the box and they wanted to run the ball on us. And so we set up a 5-man front that worked really well against it. Obviously, our personnel is a little different this year, but so is theirs. And the offense that they're running is kind of a normal, kind of 11 personnel deal going on, or 10 personnel deal. And so really what the stress is for this week, and obviously this sounds biased coming from a lineman, but if we win up front, we're going to win this game. Their O-linemen are undersized, and if we're able to run the ball on them and stop the run, we're going to be all right, I think.
We should win the game by a lot of points.
Yeah.
I plan to put up a lot of points on offense.
I'm going to put up some points too.
As an entire unit, we're gonna put up a lot of points defensively. We're gonna get stops. We're gonna force turnovers. We're gonna win the game. That is the plan.
It really is a big game. You guys are 500 right now. This game's going to determine just currently whether you guys are going to be over or under that. What's Coach Huerta really preaching to you guys at practice every day going into this really crucial matchup?
Have fun. That's one thing he's been saying a lot recently, and I think it kind of showed in the Burrows game where even though we came out with a loss, the second half, kind of like Kai was saying earlier, I think you could see a lot of guys had high energy, a lot of guys were just having fun, and he's basically been saying if you play for the guy next to you, you focus on your assignment, and just kind of play as a team and really just focus on having fun. And we're playing a game when it comes down to it. Obviously, everybody, it's super intense, it's an intense game, it's a physical game, but at the end of the day, it's a game, and we all just want to have fun. I think if we really do that and hone in on why we all play and kind of play for the guys next to us, we'll come out with a big win.
Yeah, and off of that, if this squad doesn't have each other's backs, just in football generally, just because it's such a violent sport, then it's all for naught. Like we're not gonna be able to get any momentum moving at any point in the season if people aren't together and we're not having fun. So yeah, I think I agree with JC.
And last question, and what has been your favorite thing about this year on the football team?
This year's team? I think I've grown a lot closer with a lot of the young guys this year. I think that's been a really big thing. A lot of my friends were in the senior class that graduated, and I think building relationships with a lot of the freshmen and sophomores this year has just been really fun. A lot of cool, I love the team. I love all the guys on the team, and I think just getting to know them has really helped me kind of buy into the team a little bit more this year.
Yeah, I think seeing kids, I want to point out Mike Schneider, who's made massive improvement at right tackle. He's out on an island there most of the night, and he's been really doing his job and doing it well. And so I think seeing the teaching that comes from coaches and the mentoring that older guys are able to do kind of come to fruition, and we see guys doing really well out there. It's good to see.
Thank you, JT and Kai, for joining us on the first Coach's Corner Ask the Athletes of the Year. Good luck to you guys versus Mary Star. I'm Danny Lynch with Jake Lancer, and we hope to see you next time on Coach's Corner. Enjoy the game.